Hey, did you know that it's not about how much you make? It's only about how much you keep. A lot of folks don't realize that before investing, there are 3 fundamental things that you need to make sure that you got in place before you start putting money aside. You're gonna be really surprised when I share the 3rd one with you, so stay tuned. Hey, how's it going? My name is Eric, your Abundant BFF. And as always, I am here to help you find financial freedom, wealth, and abundance. Now, I've been an entrepreneur, a business owner, and investor over the last, now I'm turning 42, for a long time right now. And if there's anything fundamental that I've realized being a tax advisor for many, from all walks of life, from folks just starting out to ridiculously wealthy folks, is that there are 3 fundamental financial techniques and pieces of knowledge that you need to have in your wheelhouse before you even consider building wealth. Now, I know a lot of us, we want to build true wealth. Wealth doesn't necessarily mean financial wealth, but wealth also means freedom of being able to do what you want, when you want, wherever you want, right? That's true wealth right there. But before you're even able to achieve that, there are 3 things that you need to have in the back of your mind before you do any of that. And let me just share with you a little bit of a story, right? I was just like most other folks, graduated from college, went off into the world, owned a business, was making money, doing all the things. And as I started making more money, I started spending more money. And little did I realize that over those years, I started accumulating a ton of credit card debt. And what happened was credit was super easy to get. You get credit card offers in all the time. And then you start seeing this guy's got this car, this person's got this computer, they got this big TV. I must need those things as well. And I started having what we call lifestyle creep. Basically starting to spend more money as I made more money. And although my income looked really good on my tax return, the amount I actually had saved away and put away was very minimal. And what had happened was there's 2 recessions that happened prior to this present one, 2001 and 2008. And both times I made a lot of money as an entrepreneur. I had many different businesses, exited businesses, but as I did that, I started spending more money. And when the recessions hit, I lost everything because I didn't stick by these 3 fundamental rules, and I'm gonna share them with you so that way you don't have the same mistake that I did. Step number 1, spend below your means. Now, a lot of financial professionals out there are talking about not getting a Starbucks latte or not watching Netflix because these monthly costs, these little costs add up. And yes, they do add up, but you're not gonna truly make true wealth on saving $4 on a latte, right? Or making coffee at home, because at the end of the day, we have to enjoy life. We work hard to enjoy, but also understand you want to spend below your means with regards to consumer debt. Here is the challenge. It's relatively easy to get credit. You go into Best Buy, you want to buy a TV, they offer you 0% credit for 12 months, and it swoons you into buying something that you really shouldn't be buying. Or you go and you look at a car and you realize, hey, if I only spend $20 more per month, I could buy the next car up. And then you end up spending beyond your budget, or you end up creating a much longer term loan than you really should be having any business in, and that eats away at your wealth. So what you're gonna want to do is spend below your means. Meaning, let's say if you're making $40,000 a year at your job, which is a great income, spend your money as if you're only making $30,000 a year. Now, I know that sounds like that's austerity or you're just like penny pinching, but think of this, if you were able to put aside $10,000 per year, or even $2,000 or $3,000 per year into a savings or into an investment account, that can become millions for you down the road. When you start realizing the power of compound interest and the ability of using your money in a different way, you'll really be able to understand the power of spending below your means. And I'll make another video on how compound interest works and the magical power behind it. But again, the first thing that you're gonna want to do is spend below your means. Here's number 2, and this is something I see happen a lot in the entrepreneurial community. Just between you and I do tax returns and financial accounting for many of the biggest influencers in the social media space. That's the business I've been in for the last 10 years. Work with big name YouTubers, work with big name coaches, consultants, speakers that speak on all the different business education stages. And I'll tell you, the biggest challenge many of them have is as they make more money, they spend more money. And you see the challenge right now on social media is everyone is talking about their Lamborghini or their Mercedes or the fancy Gucci's that they got and all these things. But the reality is this, my friend, why are we spending money to buy things to impress people that really don't care about what we are doing? That's the reality of it. Many of us are caught in this consumerist rat race to just spend more as we make more. And the challenge with that is we call that lifestyle creep. Now the problem is we might be in a market where it's a strong market, or we might be doing well this 1 year, but we don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. So as you make more money, I highly recommend and I advocate to live in the same lifestyle that you've had before and take that additional capital and invest it, or put it to the side, or create a rainy day fund. All those things will help give you a much more stronger financial foundation. And let's be honest, 10 years from now, you're not gonna look back and say, man, you know, those Gucci shoes changed my life. And like I said, don't get me wrong, I love fast cars. I'm an American guy. I love fast cars, fancy clothes and stuff like that. But I'm not gonna look 10 years back from now and reminisce on the pair of shoes that I bought. I'm gonna reminisce on the experiences I've had and the amount of freedom that I've created by putting money aside and investing. Okay, so here is the third and last fundamental that I see is one of the biggest challenges to creating true wealth, is to have a rainy day fund. Now, like I said before, most Americans, over 70% of Americans have less than $1,000 saved, and they're one paycheck away from financial ruin. Now, we talked about, what if you lose your job, or what if your business goes south? But those are things that we're thinking about. What are things that are completely out of our control? What if our car breaks down and you have a $2,000 repair bill? What if instead you had a medical expense, or a loved one had a medical expense, or your dog had a medical expense that was more than your savings? What would that do to you? What would that do to your finances? Like I said, most Americans are 70%, or 70% of Americans have less than $1,000 saved. If you got hit with a $2,000 expense, you're stuck. What are you gonna do? You're gonna end up taking on more debt. The majority of bankruptcies in America are because of medical debt. We have this crazy insurance system that just really doesn't work. And it all goes to show the importance of having a rainy day fund. Imagine, if you will, that you have two people, Joe and John. And Joe on one side has $1,000 saved. He's making $50,000 a year. He's spending all his money. He looks like he's successful. He's driving the baby Benz. He's got the Strolley and all that stuff with all the trappings that make it look like he's being really successful, right? But now, let's say, for example, his car pops an engine like I did. I was driving down the highway one day in my Acura, timing belt popped. Next thing I knew, I needed to replace my entire engine because my valves bent. VTEC. Imagine this one particular person. Now, he might not have the ability to pay for that new engine. Now he doesn't have a car to go to work. He's gonna have to borrow from Peter to pay Paul to get this car repaired. And if not, he's stuck. What if he has a medical expense? What if something else happens? What if? Whereas let's look at Joe. Joe over here, instead, he's making $50,000 a year. He is not spending above his means. He drives a nice late model used car. He has a nice small monthly payment. He's making $50,000 per year, but he's only spending $40,000 per year. And because of that, he's saved $5,000. Now, let's say, for example, same thing happens to him. His engine pops. It still sucks. You still have to come out of pocket for it, but he's got the financial cushion to be able to do that. Now, when it comes to creating a rainy day fund, most financial experts, including myself, recommend at a minimum to set aside 3 months of operating expenses. What are operating expenses? Expenses you must have in order to be living in the way that you're living, to cover your rent or your mortgage, property tax, your food, your utilities, right? The absolute essentials. If everything was to go to hell in a handbasket, you at least had 3 months to cover your absolute essentials while you got yourself on your feet. Now, if you didn't have that, you might have to get evicted. You might have to get foreclosed upon. And that is stuff and challenges that would live with you forever, as opposed to set aside a 3-month rainy day fund. If you could do longer, amazing. So as I've talked about, there are 3 financial fundamentals that you need to have in place. Number 1, spend below your means. Number 2, don't allow your lifestyle to creep based upon your income. And number 3, have a rainy day fund. Now again, my name is Eric. I'm your Abundant BFF. And as always, I'm here to help you find financial freedom and wealth. And wealth doesn't mean just money. Wealth is about doing what you want, where you want, with who you want, whenever you want, right? Those 3 things. With that said, I put up new videos every single week on helping you find true wealth. Make sure to click the like on this video if you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or a topic you'd like me to talk about, please put them in the comment section below. I would love to answer your questions, whether it's on YouTube or on TikTok or on Instagram or just making a new video for you. And also, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I make videos on a weekly basis to help you reach true abundance. With that said, I'm here to help you grow your wealth and abundance. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.